Friends, we keep going with John chapter 2, and we learned the second aorist this week, so we've got a couple past tenses in our back pockets here. We've got the second aorist and we've got the imperfect, and so we're going to start seeing those show up, and we want to recognize the difference in those, and that's a good thing. So 2 verse 18, here we go. Apekritheson un hoi iudaioi kai epon auto, ti semeon deknues, Haman hati tauta poies. Okay. The Jews answered, therefore, and said to him, "What sign will you show?" Will you show sounds future. This isn't technically a future, it's present. But in English, it just kind of, what sign will you show us? That sounds future in English, even though it technically isn't, right? What sign are you going to show to us that you do these things, right? Now remember, this is coming right on the heels of Jesus clearing the temple, okay? He just dumped out the coins, tipped over the tables, made a whip and drove the animals out. He said, take these things away. You're making my house. Do not turn my Father's house into a house of buying and selling. And in response, they're going to say to him, if you're going to do radical stuff like this, what sign are you going to give us to show why you do these things? Okay? Notice the question mark there. Always want to make sure we catch that punctuation, because that's going to be important in how we translate. Verse 19, Apekrithe Iesus kai epen autois, lusate tan naan tutan kai en trisen hemerais egero auton. Jesus answered and said to them. Again, that's one of those phrases that we just see so many times. Hopefully that's becoming automatic for you. Apen, of course, we know now. We memorized as a vocabulary word, but now we know it as a second aorist, third person singular of the second aorist, right? Jesus answered and said to them, Lusate, destroy. You don't know this form, but it is a form of luo, which is our favorite verb that we see all the time. Destroy this temple, okay? And in 3 days, egero auton. Notice egero there, okay? This is one of our liquid futures, okay? Notice the liquid here, the rho, that's one of our liquid consonants, and we notice we notice the circumflex up here above the omega in 3 days, and I will raise it, okay? Not him. You might be tempted to say auton is him there, okay? And it is masculine, okay? It is a masculine pronoun, but in English we're going to say it. Why is it masculine, by the way? Because na'an is masculine, okay? And that's what it's referring back to. That's how pronouns work, okay? Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it. Verse 20, Epon un hoi iudaioi, tesseracanta kai hex, etisin oika damethe hanaas hutas, kai su en trisen hemerais ageres auton. Okay, and the Jews said, there's no to him this time, it's just, and the Jews said, 46 years. Okay, we bring our subject out front. This temple took to build, or was built, probably better, in 46 years. And you, in 3 days, will raise it. Notice the liquid future again. Okay, same verb as we saw up here, just a different ending, but we still have liquid consonant. We still have circumflex tipping us off. Okay, and in 3 days you will raise it. Verse 21, Akenas de elegan peri tu na'u tu somatas autu. And he, and then notice elegant here. What's going on with elegant? What's the lexical form? Lego. Yep, good. We look to the left. We see the epsilon out front. That's an augment. Good. That's going to inform us that it's past time. Then we're going to look to the middle. Do we notice a stem change? No, we don't, right? So this is Lego, just like apon is Lego, okay? But instead, we don't see the stems change. So rather than being second aorist like apon, in this case, this is going to be Imperfect. Good. Yes. He was saying. So he didn't say, he was saying, he was speaking concerning the temple of his body. Okay. He was speaking, or he was talking about the temple of his body. Okay. Verse 22. Hate un egerthe ek nekron emnethesan hoi mathetai autu hati tuta elegen kai epistusan te graphe kai to lago ha han apen ha Jesus, right? Therefore, when he was raised from the dead, his disciples remembered that he was saying this. Okay, we might say he had said this, but technically he was saying this because it's imperfect. And they believed in the scriptures and in the word which Jesus said. Okay, keep going here. Haste ein entois Jerusalemmais, ento pascha ente heorte, paloi epistusan, Eistan anima autu theoruntes, autu ta semea ha epoie. And as he was in Jerusalem, in the Passover, in the feast, notice there's in Jerusalem, in the Passover, in the feast. That's kind of redundant. That's kind of messy English, right? So we would just say, and when he was in the Passover feast, many believed in his name, seeing the signs which he did. Or seeing his signs is probably better. His signs which he did or was doing. Once again, from poieo, okay, we look to the left, we see the epsilon, we look in the middle, we don't see a stem change there. Again, that is an imperfect, right? They saw the signs which he was doing. They saw his signs which he was doing. That gives the sense of this like ongoing nature of the signs that are going on in Jesus' ministry here, right? Verse 24. Hutas de Iesus uk epistuen auton autois dia ta auton genoskein pontas. And Jesus himself, epistuen, okay, once again, another imperfect. Usually pistuo, by the way, means to believe. In this case, it's going to mean entrust, okay? For Jesus himself was not entrusting. This doesn't mean that he wasn't believing. Was not entrusting himself to them. Kind of an interesting statement there, right? By the way, look at all those forms. Auton, autois, autos, all right in a row. And then dia ta auton, right? There's a ton of versions of that word all in the same verse. And Jesus himself did not entrust himself to them on account of he knew all. Okay? This is an infinitive, which you don't know yet. That's towards the end of Module 2. This auton here, that is an accusative, but infinitives take their subjects in the accusative. So that's why that's accusative there, in case that seems weird. That's also governing the way we translate dia here. It's not through, since it's followed by an accusative, we're going to translate it as on account of, right? And so Jesus was not entrusting himself to them on account of he knew all things. Kai hati ukrean ekenhina tis martyrese peri tu anthropou utas gar egenosken ti ein en to anthropo. And because he was not having need, okay, notice the imperfect there again, okay, in order that someone might testify concerning humanity. He didn't need someone to tell him about humanity because he knew humanity, for he knew what was in humanity. Jesus knew all about people, okay? This is an interesting verse here, kind of maybe a theological hiccup here, that that John includes here about Jesus and his relationship when he comes. Remember that the story's going to end with the people in Jerusalem arresting and crucifying and killing him. The crowds are going to love him, but those in power, the rich, the powerful, the religious are going to have problems with Jesus. And so that's how it's going to end. Maybe this is foreshadowing that here. Okay? Guys, good job once again. We're going to keep going. Hopefully this is fun to engage and read Scripture a little bit. Hopefully the fog is lifting a tad and you're able to engage a little bit more. Guys, good job. Keep going. We'll see you next time.